How to reach goals. I feel like a lot of us have different opinions how to reach goals, and I think that's actually healthy and good because there's different tricks for different people and whatnot. But I think these are some good key elements to remember. To reach goals, you just more or less need to be very organized and also kind of have that blueprint in mind. So I'm a visionary, so I do this quite a lot. This is actually golden. So if you want to make a vision come into reality, you want to make a goal come into reality, you have to think of its end result. So then you're excited to, this is what I'm working for. So during those difficult moments, you know what, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing type thing. But take the end result and now backtrack to reality, back to now. Well, I'm here now. So you have to think critical with yourself and be very realistic. If you're not realistic with yourself, you're going to be in self-denial. So when it comes to goals, you have to know where you're at and then start going forth. If you don't do that, I feel like you're going to try to skip stages, and in that you're going to get confused and kind of get depressed and just give up more or less. I've had this happen countless times. I think of the end result, I do that trick, right? Then I start, but I forget that I should be really real with myself. Once you're really real with yourself, doesn't matter how real or bad you are in whatever area you are, once you understand where you are and you're honest with yourself, you just really gain a lot of control in your life towards your goal and whatever else in life. Then you start moving forward, and you got to do it in stages. And what I mean by that is you can't be like, okay, I never ran a mile in my life, but I'm going to run a mile today. No, run like not even a half mile your first time, just because you're going to be out of breath and you're going to be really, tired. Next day, or maybe even after that week, you do that for a solid week. Get your endurance up. Next week, now you're going a half mile. Do that for a week, get your endurance up again. Now go for a little over a half mile, and then eventually, you're going to start realizing, oh, well, I can probably do a mile. And then once you get a mile, you'll be like, whoa, man, I could do 2 miles or a half mile. Like you just keep adding and adding. But that's how goals are. You can't eat too much at once. Let me repeat that in another way. You can't go after something and take more than you can really handle mentally and physically. Too often, I put too much on my plate and I'm like, oh, I can handle this, and then I start seeing, well, I'm just really dysfunctional right now. My room's a total wreck. Everything's just getting messy, internalized, and my head is like, it's just chaotic, and I'm like, whoa, let's re-examine, reflect, now let's move forward. And more or less, organization is super, super important. I really highly suggest you carry like a notepad, or use your phone, use your calendar, use anything to keep you on track. Staying on track is also very important to achieve goals. Another key element and point I want to like to make is, say if you're reaching out for a goal, and it's 6 months out, your first real moment should be like, all right, where am I at now? Once you have that figured out, let's plan a week in to a month out. So you have like kind of almost 2 blueprints, if you will, that you're following. The month out is kind of saying, this is what I'm reaching, and if I don't reach that, it is acceptable. But the one within a week is you being very real with yourself, saying in a week, if I don't get this done, more or less it's because I slacked. And if that's not the case, you have this option. I took too much in, I took too much in and I can't handle it. So that's you being real with yourself. Don't give up. Re-examine, reapproach it, and go again at it. And eventually what you're going to start seeing happen is you're going to see progress on crazy levels happen. And then eventually, this thing that was like super stressful, causing you anxiety, causing you just all kinds of stuff, is going to be like, oh, it's like pie now. And then you add more to your plate. And then your plate is getting more condensed, more compressed, if you will. But it's more or less you're actually getting stronger mentally and physically and across the board. So that's a good way to reach goals, I feel like. If you have any other suggestions of how to reach goals, please comment below, and share the video, of course. I like seeing people improve themselves, I'll put it that way. If you ever feel like, oh man, you could improve, point me out on it, like, I'll put it that way. I feel like that's always helpful, that we always keep each other in check.